Welcome back to the boat shed. This week I'm working on building the shower and actually bought the first piece of hardware that's going to be installed. It's pretty fun to see the interior come together and see how the space is being used. It's very tedious, and I'm excited for the weather to warm up and start to get back to work outside the boat, but it's going to be at least another month, if not two, until things are warm enough outside to get to work out here. But yeah, for now, we're really happy with how things are turning out, and it's been a fun project getting the shower done. My name is Matt. Follow along as I turn Duracell, the legendary ocean racing sailboat, into a comfortable cruising home. So, this is the position of the head in the boat. Last week, I built the first walls around the head, and this week I'm working on putting the shower together. I started the week with building more flat stock, which I'll use to build the shower walls. Like last week, I was able to lay up 2 boards at a time and stack them on top of each other in the same vacuum bag. This way I get 2 boards done in about 3 hours, whereas it takes me about 2 hours to do 1 board, so it saves me a little bit of time. For those that are curious, I also use 44 ounces of epoxy per side of the foam, and each side has 1 layer of 17-ounce double bias fiberglass. The next morning I took apart the sheets. I have to peel them apart where the absorbing felt is between the sheets as they get a little stuck together. When I do 2 sheets at a time, I use 1 less sheet of the absorbing felt because I only use 1 between the sheets, so 3 total between 2 pieces of flat stock. If I just vacuum bagged 1 at a time, I use 2 pieces of felt per sheet of flat stock. So laying up 2 sheets at a time saves me both time and materials. The shower walls are 2 feet wide, so I'm cutting the 4-foot wide sheet in half. I used my shower wall mock-up made of plywood to trace the shape of the shower wall onto the foam. And then I used my jigsaw to cut out the shower walls.
Oh, look at that!
Half a shower.
This one it looks like it's going to require just a touch of futzing.
Just trimming it to make it fit better.
The translation of my mock-up to finished piece is rarely perfect. I could use a router to cut out the piece, but I often make little changes to the mock-up that I can't do with a router. Using my oscillating tool to do the final fit works really well.
I think that's it.
Got it?
Yeah.
So we're not going to have a aft wall on our shower?
No, there'll be a big window there,
Oh,
so you can watch me shower.
I like it. Seriously though, when do we have the other wall, or why are you waiting to install it?
I have to fiberglass these two in before I can put this aft wall on, and I have to make another piece of flat stock as well. And so you should probably come over here. There will be a bulkhead that goes all the way to the hole right here, and so you'll notice that that will close off this whole area right here. I was going to paint it before I closed it off, but I decided there's going to be a watertight door right here so that we can store, there will be like maybe a system or two back there, maybe some storage of like chemicals or cleaners, stuff like that in that cabinet. So we'll build shelving and stuff inside there, and I'll paint it all after I have this all glued in. It just makes more sense logistically to do it that way. Yeah, the next thing to do is to tab these two things in, and then I'll work on the shower pan probably tomorrow, and then I can start working on this bulkhead here. There's already these holes down in the hull below where the shower pan's going to be, so we're just going to have the shower drain out the boat right there.
Ah.
It's a joke.
That made a joke.
I made a joke.
Okay, explain to us why it's a joke.
Because if the bottom of the shower where you're standing is below the water line, and so if you were to just have holes that went straight down through the boat to drain the shower, it would actually just be a hole in the boat, and the water would just come up into the shower and sink the boat. So what you have to do is, there's a drain in the shower, but that feeds into a box which has a pump in it, and that pump pumps the shower water up above the water line and overboard. So to avoid a tragic sinking event on launch day, I plugged the two holes with Cusaboard, a high-density fiberglass impregnated foam, and then glassed over them. Later, I'll glass over the outside.
Okay, as editor, I just have to step in here and assure you that while it's true Matt spends a lot of time on the boat, alone, doing repetitive tasks, he hasn't lost his mind here. He's just chuckling at his funny podcast. Not to worry. I started working on the shower pan. It is going to go in the largest section of the bilge that's in the shower area.
It will drain aft through a hose to another section of the bilge where the sump box will be. So first, I templated out the bottom of the shower pan. Then I cut out the piece and fit it to the area to make sure it will fit to be about 2 inches deep into the bilge. This area will be fiberglassed closed, so I need to be able to install a drain part with the hose attached, but doesn't let the drain fall through the pan. So I made a little template. I cut a hole that fits the bottom of the drain through the pan. Then routed out a larger concentric circle that went through the top skin and foam, but not the bottom skin. This way the drain doesn't fall through the hole and can be sealed from the top. Once it was cut, I cleaned it up and fit the drain, and it was a really nice tight fit. We use Total Boat high performance 2-to-1 epoxy for all our laminating projects. If you follow the link in the description, Total Boat will give you 5% off an order, and you'll help support the project. I glued in the shower pan. And glued in walls around the perimeter. These are recessed from the level of the floor about 3/4 of an inch. This way a grate can fit on top that is flush with the floor to allow water to go into the pan.
If you had $1 million to buy a boat, what kind of boat would you buy?
I don't know all the boats. But there's a lot of really great boat builders out there. I'd probably still build my own. I'd definitely have somebody design the boat for me, but I'd still be excited to build it myself. Probably have somebody like...
Someone like Roger Martin, if he were still alive.
Yep. Or Dashu. Paul Beaker, probably.
But basically, that was a dumb question I asked, because you'd still be building Duracell if you had $1 million to buy a boat.
Yep. Exactly. I would definitely hire people to help me. Yeah. That's what I would do with $1 million. But I'm happy. I'm still happy I get to do it. I fiberglassed a couple layers of light tapes that add structure to the pan, but also make the slope for the water to fall into the drain. It's like 8:30 or something.
I know. At night.
I'm just an old man who wants his peace and quiet. If you had $1 million, what kind of boat would you buy?
I was kind of thinking a wooden boat.
Hmm.
Just kidding.
Tell us in the comments. That's actually a pretty good question.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, hey viewers, if you had $1 million to buy a boat, what kind of boat would you buy? Maybe that's a dumb question.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but it's like, what if you had $100? What kind of boat would you buy? I don't know. We don't
biggest boat I could get.
We don't need fancy boats to be happy.
No.
I don't know. A few bucks will get almost anyone a paddleboard, which can bring a lot of joy and get people out in the water.
Totally. That'll probably be the next boat I build.
Paddleboard?
Sure, why not? Never built one.
A little matching paddleboard for Duracell.
So we're gonna have to build a set of paddle boards, dinghy, all matching.
Little Duracell ducklings.
Mm-hmm.
He'll play.
You like this part.
It is like saying, he'll play. Thanks for hanging out with us. Please consider liking this video and see you next week.
Thank you again to all of our Patreons. You guys are the absolute best. We couldn't do this project without you. If you're interested in joining the Patreon community, you can find us at the Duracell Project on patreon.com. So first, thank you very much to my aunt and uncle, Jeff and Carolyn, who live in Idaho. It's where I grew up, and they are avid outdoors people, and we are lucky enough to get to travel with them every once in a while. We love you guys very much. Thank you so much. Also, thank you to Ron. Ron is retired from the U.S. Army. He was a physician's assistant. He grew up sailing in the Puget Sound area, sailing and boating, but now lives in Texas. Also, thank you to Sean, who is also from Texas, and he has lived and worked in Asia for a long time and currently lives in Mumbai. And also thank you to Ewan. Ewan grew up sailing from a very young age. His parents took him on a transatlantic crossing in 2007, and he got the cruising bug. Then he bought himself a Sydney 40, which is a really cool racing boat that he fitted out for cruising and sailed it from the UK to Australia. It took 11 months. And now he lives in New Zealand with his family and kids, and they have a Seascape 24, which they race and cruise. Very cool boat. So thank you very much, Ewan. And again, thank you very much to everybody.